Hello Spud Lovers! Welcome back to another Palia video. We're doing something a little bit different compared to the tips and tricks video we did last week, but don't worry, there are still plenty of tips and tricks to be done. So basically, I just want to see exactly which ore can be the most profitable when you mine it for only 15 minutes. And I'll be honest, after doing the graphics for this and everything and kind of putting this together, I was actually a little surprised. I had in my head what I thought it was going to be, and it very much wasn't what I thought it was going to be. So I hope you stick around to see what I'm talking about and you can get some good information from this as well. So starting off, we're going to start from the top with the basic different types of mining material, and then we're going to move our way down to the more specialized and harder to get mining material. So without further ado, let's get started. Starting off with stone, it's worth 1 gold, so it's gonna be a very basic. It's very easy to get in the first place. You only need a makeshift pick to get this, so it's not exactly difficult to find nor get. It can be found literally everywhere. After 15 minutes, I was able to find 181 individual pieces of stone. Times the 1 gold each, and you get 181 gold for 15 minutes with just getting stone alone. I wouldn't exactly call this very profitable, but if you don't have very much time on your hands and you just need a little something, I would consider this not a terrible option. Moving along to the second one, it's going to be flint. Flint is mined from stone nodes, so it's also very common to get. While the stone is really easy to find and it's everywhere, out of the 181 stone that we found, I only found 12 flint. So with this, we only had a 6.6% drop rate if we're getting these numbers precisely, which is not really great, although flint is worth 3 times the amount of stone at 3 gold each. So we were able to get 36 gold for just 12 flint, but that is after 15 minutes, so I'm going to say flint is probably the least profitable out of our entire collection that we got going on here so far. Third on the list is going to be clay. Clay can be found anywhere around Einar's little pond/lake and around the water areas bordering that lake as well. There were unfortunately quite a few other players online that day, and so I was competing for quite a bit of the clay. The fact that it is an MMO, you are going to stumble across other players as well. I wanted it to stay true to what it actually was, so instead of redoing the 15 minutes, I just decided to keep it as it was just to remain true to the actual test. So I really was only able to get 98 clay out of these nodes. But with clay being only worth 2 gold each, we really weren't going to get very much out of this profit anyways. But grand total, we were able to get 196 gold for our profit with clay alone. Next is going to be copper, so we're going to get into the metals now. At 4 gold each, they are found anywhere in Kilima Valley. They're pretty common to find. You can also use the makeshift pickaxe for this as well, so it's really easy to get. You don't need any special materials for this. After 15 minutes, I was able to find 171 pieces of copper ore, which is pretty dang good, I think. We were able to get 684 gold out of all that, so that's a pretty good, decent profit for only 15 minutes, and being able to stay within the valley, not having to venture into the Bahari coast is pretty good. But moving on to iron ore. At 8 gold apiece, they are twice the amount of copper ore, but they are only found in the Bahari coast. They are not nearly as common as copper nodes are in the Kilima Valley, but they are still pretty common. Also, to get the iron ore, you need a copper pickaxe to be able to acquire this, so it does require more work to get. You can't just start off the game and go immediately to the Bahari coast and immediately get the iron to get this good amount of gold. Because a lot more of the crafting recipes are using iron though, I believe this node is probably a lot more in demand from other players, so they might be harder to find just from supply versus demand alone. But regardless, I was able to get 145 ore pieces from this for 15 minutes, which gives our total 1,160 gold for that, which is really good. For only 15 minutes of searching for iron, that's good. That's actually really good. And then moving to Palium. This is the most expensive, hard to find, and highest level quantity tier leveled ore you can find and get in the game right now. At 12 gold apiece, it's not necessarily double the 8 gold, but it is still much higher. It is also found only in the Bahari Coast. But because it's such a high level tier, everyone wants this, which means it is very hard to find and being able to get as well. You have to find a server that is either close to empty, or people that just don't really care about it, or people that are willing to share. I highly recommend finding people who are willing to share it. There's plenty of servers out there where people will put into the chat that, hey, there's Palium ore in the hideout, or there's Palium ore at Tamala's house, or there's ore at the geyser. There's people that will give shoutouts all the time and wait for people to kind of group up and everyone takes a single whack at the node. So that way when it breaks fully, everyone gets the exact same amount of ore and no one gets to miss out. But with all that still, after 15 minutes, I was only able to get 23 individual pieces of ore. Unfortunately, these take about 15 minutes, if not more, to respawn, and because there's so few nodes, it's hard to find and hard to get to before other players get to them. But we were able to still make 276 gold from 15 minutes of this, so it's better than all the basic stones, but it's the lowest out of all the metal ores so far. And with getting Palium, you need actually a fine pickaxe. So you need a pickaxe made of iron to be able to pick this out. So not only do you need to go through the makeshift, you need to go through the copper standard pickaxe, and you need to get a fine pickaxe to be able to mine this out. So you have quite a bit of mining to do in the first place before you can even get the Palium. The last bits on this list are the two different, I'm going to call them specialty ores, silver and gold. Starting off with the silver one, it's worth 18 gold each. That's pretty dang good. It's more than double what iron is worth, and definitely more than Palium even. They are mined specifically from copper nodes alone. And out of the 171 copper we were able to get, we were only able to get 7 silver ores to drop with it. Silver ore does only drop from copper nodes that are medium and large though. So I knew that if I did a small copper node that it wasn't going to drop that anyways, but with the amount that we were able to get from the copper nodes, I was actually expecting a little bit more of a drop rate, but that wasn't really the case. With this, it was only a 4% drop rate, assuming that every node that I hit was a large or a medium node, which I will say the vast majority, maybe 95% of the nodes that I did hit for the coppers was a medium or a large so that I could get that silver at the same time. But even so, it was a very, very low drop rateage. And with that silver pieces of ore, it only netted us 126 gold. So even though it's worth a lot more, just the sheer quantity lowered that price down for us quite a bit. And then lastly on this particular list is gonna be gold. At 36 gold a piece, it is double what silver is worth. And they are mined specifically from iron nodes. And just like the copper, they are mined from only medium and large nodes. And just as I did with copper, I did the same thing with iron too, where I did about 95% of the ones I hit were medium large so that I can get gold at the same time. However, I was only able to get one piece of gold within the 15 minutes that I got the iron nodes, with a drop rateage of only about 0.68, 0.69, somewhere around there. So it's less than a 1% drop rateage that I got from 15 minutes of doing nothing but hitting medium and large iron nodes. So because of that, we only got 36 gold because we only got one piece of gold. Iron definitely took first place at 1,160 gold for 15 minutes of mining 145 individual pieces of iron ore. But the fun is not going to stop here. We're actually going to smelt these babies and see how much more money we can get from this. Starting off as we did with stone the last time, we are going to start with stone brick. However, I didn't actually do stone brick, and I will show you why in just a second. But I actually started with putting them into glass panes instead of stone bricks. Each glass pane takes 10 stone to craft, and with 181 stones, I was able to get 18 glass panes grand total. And at 13 gold each, I was able to get them at 234 gold for all 18 glass panes. Which compared to the 181 stones just individually, that's much better. However, if we do take a look at putting them into a stone brick, at 3 gold each and they only take 2 stone each to craft, you can make 90 of them with our 181 collected. which means that we could have made 270 gold, which is a difference of about 44 gold. So that's not exactly going the direction we're trying to head. But there's another option. Turning those panes right then into glass bulbs. Even though they need 2 glass panes each, they are worth 34 gold each, which means that we can make 9 of them out of the 18 glass panes we are able to collect from the 181 stones, which means that our profit from that is now 306 gold, which means that we are now ahead by 36 gold. So if you're trying to make the most money out of your stones, it looks like making them into glass bulbs is the way to go. And unfortunately, we can't do anything with flint. There's no way to smelt flint and make them into something, so they kind of have to be ignored right now. But with clay, we can make ceramic. Clay was only worth 2 gold each, but ceramic is worth 6 gold each. But you do need 2 clay each to make them, which means that we can make 49 ceramics out of the 98 clay that we found. But with that 49 ceramic, we get a net profit of 294 gold. And then moving on to the copper bars. They are worth 21 gold each, but they do need 5 copper ores each. And with the 171 copper ores that we got, we're able to make 34 individual copper bars. And unfortunately, we're going to have some leftovers with some of these ore pieces, as we didn't have an exact amount for all of them. So we're going to have to ignore the extra pieces and just focus on the actual whole pieces of bars that we were able to smelt. So with that 34 bars that we were able to get for copper, we're able to get a net profit of 714 gold, which is, again, pretty dang good for not having to leave the valley and after 15 minutes of collection and then throwing them all into a single smelter and just going about your day, coming back home in an easy 714. Not bad. And then next is the iron bars. They are worth 43 gold, so they are worth little over double the copper bars. Iron bars take 5 iron ore each, and we were able to get 29 bars out of this. And 29 bars times the 43 gold is 1,247 gold. That is absolutely perfect. I love that. And then moving on to pallium ore. They are worth 95 gold, so they are worth double what iron is, so I can see why people would want to try to get as much pallium as possible. But we were only able to get 4 pallium bars out of the 23 ore we were able to collect, which means we are only able to make 380 gold from our 15 minutes of collecting pallium ore, which is not very good. You do better doing the copper rather than pallium at that point. Not only that, but the time it takes to find the pallium nodes and the time it takes to be able to get a fine pickaxe to be able to get the pallium ore, it does take a while. So if you're looking for just kind of a quick fix with a low-tiered pick, copper and iron are really the ways to go at this point. But moving on to our fancy ore, silver bars, we were only able to collect 7 silver, and they do need 5 silver to be able to make a single bar. But the bars each are worth 255 gold. 255 for 1 silver bar. So, which means we only had 1 silver bar though, so that's 255 gold. But seriously, for 1 bar, that's a lot of money. So it's almost a shame the drop rate was so low with that. But the same thing is happening with the gold bar. The gold bar is worth double, 510 gold each. And you need 5 gold ore to get it. We only got 1 piece of gold ore, which means we did not make any profit with a gold bar because we didn't make a single gold bar. But that would have been really nice if we did. So gold is not the way to go when it comes to just doing this for 15 minutes. It's not a quick fix. Absolutely not. So if we're looking at ore alone, iron is gonna have to take the cake. But if you're willing to smelt that iron, you can get a little bit more of a profit with 87 more gold by smelting them into iron bars. But if it's really not that big of a deal to you, then it's really not that big of a loss anyways. Because of the 87 difference, I'm gonna have to give iron bars the #1 place, the winner's place, the crown, the ribbon, the sparkles, and champagne. Everything that iron deserves, because iron has been the underdog that I was not expecting. Let me know what you guys were expecting, and if you knew that iron was already basically the OP ore of this game, or if you're able to get more than I was able to get, or if you're able to mine a lot less if you're going to try this experiment as well. This has been a lot of fun. This was something very different. I haven't really ever done this before, so I appreciate you guys joining me on this little journey here, and I hope to do more of these with some of the other different specialties as well, like hunting and gardening and cooking and all that other stuff that you can actually sell. Furniture does not sell, unfortunately, so we can't do that. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Please do not forget to like and subscribe so we can do more of these fun activities. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a beautiful and wonderful day, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!